intentions, new month, new intentions, new lessons to be brought in. And the biggest lesson I've learned that I'm taking with me into March from February is that I am not owed anything and that every day is a gift. And I just need to keep staying in the present and living in gratitude. First days are also a time for reflection. And I'm gonna keep harping on this. I'm really sorry, but it really has made such a huge difference in my life at the moment. One of the things that I was reflecting on was the irony of how when I was younger, there would be moments where I would just be so bored out of my mind. I'd think like, oh, I wonder what was happening in other people's lives. And now, like 20 years later, I have this information literally at the tips of my fingers. And the time that I've spent on here and being off there has shown me that I don't actually need to know. Just like a big breakthrough, because you don't realize that you don't need something until it's been taken away from you, right? It's a big lesson I keep repeating throughout the course of the last 29 days. Social media specifically, and then content consumption in general, is very different from being in relationship with other people. I've been very careful to say, like, are you in relationship with another person? Because in the past, I've been burned. Why do you keep saying we're in a relationship? Yeah, because we relate to each other, duh. It's not like I'm dating you or like blood relatives. You are a part of my life. We're in a relationship. Just FYI. And same thing, like if I'm a part of your life, then I would think that there is some level or semblance of a relating to each other. Literal sense, guys. Last week, one of my students brought up the concept like parasocial relationships because we were studying about the effects of media on behavior. And even though this concept has been around since the mid-50s, now more than ever, we feel the full force of these effects because the lives of other people are so accessible. Being in relationship means communing and communicating. This experiment has just driven home the point that real effort is needed to maintain quality relationships. Not gonna lie, there are people that I haven't spoken to in 3 or 5 years that I feel like I was still involved with just because I double tapped a photo that they'd posted, and that was enough of an effort to maintain the friendship. But obviously that's not the case. Was I interested to find out a bit more? Not really, not necessarily. And if I posted something and they viewed my story, even if the spike of serotonin is not really healthy, because that's not being in a relationship, right? My solution, I guess, to this is that when I return to Instagram, I'm going to be intentional with the posts I like and the people I follow. And to use social media for the tool that it is, because that's ultimately what it is, right? It's another tool for communication. Facebook should be enough, or like WhatsApp should be enough if I want to communicate with my friends. But clearly, people my age in Hong Kong think that Facebook is a no-go. The cultural difference of using Facebook in the Philippines versus in Hong Kong is very big. So if you meet someone new, by and large, they're going to ask you for your Instagram. Going back to my point, scrolling and watching isn't communicating, especially with the friendships, the people that are in constant communication with. I want to relate to them. I want to know how their day was without knowing about it on their stories. I know that takes a lot more effort, but I think it's worth the effort if I want to maintain those friendships. I keep asking myself, like, what if we didn't follow each other? Instead of scrolling, double tapping, what if I reached out and engaged in real conversation instead? I've had a lot of great conversations in the last month just because I've missed people and I've reached out to them. It was so fun. It was so good to like catch up. I want to say thank you to all the people that reached out to me, who noticed my absence and didn't take it personally, because it's really nothing personal. And they messaged me and said like, how are you? Haven't heard from you in so long. Haven't seen your updates in so long. So I'm really grateful to the friends that have reached out to me too. It is two ways after all. In conclusion, we have become passive consumers of content. Since when did we become entertainment for each other? When did we forget that this little window is a privilege, not a right? It's not possible at the moment, but I would like to be able to have a catch-up over coffee or a meal at some point with my friends in the near future. Or a FaceTime or Zoom call. I mean, that's the norm now, isn't it? We all know that what we post is already very well curated anyway. What if we made an effort to find out about the stories behind what we saw, you know, behind those posts? Took time to reach out. You know, that's the standard I want to keep for myself. And a thought I want to leave you with. So, no hate on anyone's way of using Instagram, but that's where I'm at now, at this point. See you tomorrow. Wow, so many scratches on my face.